Hello, and welcome to The Silver Lining, the weekly geekly talk show where we discuss any number of topics that may have come up during the week. And what a week it's been. I don't know if there's one topic I don't know if we're gonna actually talk about. I am your host, Uncle Silver, aka Silver Greg, aka Greg, whatever you're comfortable calling me. And welcome to you, my co-host, the chat. It's always a fantastic time having you here. This is definitely one of the highlights of my streaming week, is always coming here and getting to hang out with all of you and talk about whatever stuff may have come up during the week.
Your ideas are intriguing to me, and I wish to subscribe to your
Crimson
newsletter.
One, thank you so much for the follow. Looks like Long Arms 07 also followed. Thank you so much for that. I don't know why that didn't come up. But yes,
Your
thank you.
ideas are intriguing to me, and I wish to subscribe to your newsletter.
I'm wondering if Long Arms, if you hit follow right before the show started, so I'm wondering if that's what it was. But hello everybody. Fox, Lilac, Phil, Latimer, bruh, John Poncho, Dragoon Knight, Gabby. I've been busy this week. I missed you guys. It's always good to have you here, Gabby J. And Crimson One and Long Arm. Since you hit follow, I'm gonna assume that you're somewhere lurking, which is totally okay. Omega, what's happening? Just remember, if you for whoever may be watching that is not chatting or doesn't normally chat, I love having everybody interact. You don't have to interact, obviously not. But one of my favorite things is to have everybody here. I do consider the chat my co-host, so it's better for everybody to. It's more interesting, I think, for everybody to interact and to get different perspectives on stuff. Because I have a feeling there is at least one topic today that we are going to disagree on. Lock the chest. What is happening? See, there you go, Long Arms, aka Polar Bear. What is happening? It has been Latimer stole my identity. He called me bruh. No. I said Latimer and then bruh. Because bruh was the next person there. I gotta get that sound, bruh Haven. I want that sound effect on my soundboard just so that when you're here, I can click it and say bruh. Lizard Elements, Hot Goggles. What is going on? Oh, we got a packed house. I don't know. Maybe starting the show at 7 p.m. is the way to go. Yeah. Oh wait, I gotta start using my my fun sound effects. A little loud. What? Yeah, it's been a week. We had a couple of things that were discussion worthy. One in particular that I really don't know if I'm gonna get into. But yeah, it's been all right. I did some work outside. I got some more work to do tomorrow. It's been kind of a week. I had a kind of crappy day at work today. Today was just not awful, just a lot of people just being really kind of rude and cranky, and it always drives me crazy. Though these are the days when I think just sell all of my crap and move into a shack somewhere. Like reduce all of my bills to next to nothing so I don't have to work. I can just scrap metal and live off of the money from selling video games. AR Mega Man, what is happening? Final Fantasy VII Battle Royale coming out 2027. Gabby, we'll get to that. I had French fries with Old Bay on them, and they got those little things in them. I'm spitting out. I see Winning Can just went live. Yeah, we'll talk about the state of play, the Final Fantasy VII. That is the topic that I feel like we're going to disagree a lot on. Latimer, remind me to bring that up. I do want to talk about that. I do want to talk about that Tetris DLC. Bring that up. Final Fantasy VII SD card one. Was this never played Final Fantasy VII? It's an awesome game. Pick it up for the Switch. If you've got the Switch and you've got a way to play it, pick it up for that. Also, if your topic, and that what you think? It's about a game. Yeah, Ziego, I know what you think. I think it is, but I think we're gonna end up talking about that really quickly because let's be honest. No, we're not gonna talk about it now. I'm not gonna get wrapped up in that now. I'm not gonna get wrapped up in that now. but yeah, so it's been an okay week. How's everybody else's week been? Hopefully everybody is doing okay. The weather's kind of funky. It's been sort of like off and on rainy here, so it's kind of difficult to get wrapped up into doing anything outside. If you salt your fries, do you use regular salt or seasoned salt? Regular salt. But one of my two favorite things to put on French fries are either Old Bay, the Old Bay spice, or nothing with barbecue sauce. I like, instead of, people like ketchup, I like barbecue sauce to dip my fries in. My week was okay. House sitting and dog sitting. Oh, doggos. Love me a doggo. I think at some point I do want to get a dog. I don't know what the situation with Sage is ever going to be, and I feel like I'm gonna want some time to recuperate. I feel like I don't want to jump from pet to pet to pet. I don't like that idea. My week has been fine. It's been raining. Oh yeah, it was raining all week, and my knuckles hurt. And knuckles. My week's been alright. Was really excited about Medieval and saw Detective Pikachu today. No spoilers, but how did you think Detective Pikachu was? I haven't seen it. I have no interest in seeing it. Old Bay Spice? Yeah. Oh wait. Oh my god, I never remember that I have this. Where the hell is it? Oh no, I'm looking at the wrong thing. I've got these sound effects. I should really know where the hell they are. Doggo? Don't you mean big old puppers? That's pretty much what they all are for me. Oh, Sage is okay. It's just, he's older. We're going great. Then I got sick, sadly. On the plus side, after nearly 6 months of searching, I finally got a new job starting in a week and a bit. Oh, very, very nice. Lock the chest. Congratulations. I thought it did really well. I can see people not enjoying it as much if they aren't into Pokemon. It's a fun movie for the fans. That's always sort of tricky. See, that always hurts reviews, because reviews need to be written by lots of different kinds of people. And if all of the kinds of people who write reviews don't like Pokemon, they might not like the movie. So the movie might not get super fantastic reviews. Planning to see it with my niece and nephews. And remember, anybody who has not seen Endgame, this is a good week to start going to see it, because everybody's going to be seeing Detective Pikachu. I think that hurt Warcraft too. Yeah, elements. My issue with Warcraft is that I feel like Warcraft stood well on its own. What I would have changed about Warcraft is I would not have called it Warcraft. I would have called it you can't call it orcs versus humans. But I would have called it something else. I would have called it something more related to the story and left the Warcraft name out, or named it the name and then underneath had the tagline, the Warcraft Saga. To let people know that this is not a standalone movie. It is Warcraft, but that is not the first thing we want you to think of. Like, I think that there was some marketing stuff that could have happened with that movie, because I love the Warcraft movie. I think it's awesome. Warcraft Origins, I think would have been good. Well, I think that would have been okay. I still don't like the Warcraft name headlining the title. I feel like fans will know that it's a Warcraft movie. I think it's the people who are not fans of Warcraft that need to disassociate it. Because outside of the fan base of Warcraft, WoW especially has a pretty a laughable sort of image around it. So I would have preferred for them to separate that image from the movie. Which sucks, because we won't get another one of those movies. Critics gave it a 62, while reviewers are at 86% right now. Yeah, see, Lilac? Exactly. Because critics don't care about Pokemon. They care about the quality of the movie on its own. And on its own, it might not stand. Horde versus Alliance? Diego, that's not a bad idea. Here come the Horde. Maybe that might work a little bit down south here in the U.S., but probably not anywhere else. Sean, what's going on? And hello to everybody else. Mike Cobella, who I may not have said anything to. Warcraft, the Warcraft Saga. No, not Warcraft. The Warcraft Saga, yes, but I don't know, something else. I don't know, Curse of the Fell. I think that would be cool. Curse of the Fell, a Warcraft Saga. And it deals with the Fell and all of the stuff that was involved with that. And now, of course, I'm talking about Warcraft, and it makes me miss Warcraft. So that's not really good. R and C. Hold on. You lost me on R and C. I'm sorry. Then again, I don't do Warcraft relevance. I love Warcraft's world. Warcraft did fantastic world building. Probably one of my first experiences was world building in that scale. Because I don't. Ratchet and Clank movie. Because I never did Dungeons and Dragons or anything. So and even Dungeons and Dragons had basic elements. But the point of D&D is that everybody plays their own story, so it was not a sort of sweeping saga. But yeah, so I think Warcraft was one of my first big giant world experiences, and I loved it. I loved it. I just $15 a month for struggling to gather raids together and doing dailies and eating up a lot of time. I couldn't manage my time properly playing WoW. So I left it. And I had a bunch of other things going on, so I left it at the time. I wish I could go back and just, basically just explore again, start up my character if that's even a possibility, and explore the world, use all the cool mounts that I had before, but I don't even think that's a realistic possibility. Hey, an SGB D&D game would be amazing, bruh. It might be amazing. That might be amazing. Okay, I wonder what it's like to be, what it's be like having an audience vote and choose your own. AR, you're talking about like that. What the hell was it? Black Mirror, like Bandersnatch or something, or whatever the hell it was, which was basically just the old the CD media games from Sega CD that everybody acted like it was a brand new thing. Matt Rolls 15 hits chow. Bandersnatch, that's what it was. I didn't even watch it. Somebody told me it was a choose your own adventure movie, and I didn't really care. Jerf, what's happening? Cumberbatch? Is it Cumberbatch or Cumberbatch? I don't know. I feel like Cumberbatch is wrong. Now that's a D&D game. I'd kill the DM. Yeah, choose your own adventure. Bandersnatch. Okay. I want to get into the topics here because I suspect that the second half of this episode is going to be loaded heavy. So I want to get into the topics here. The first topic is apparently a U.S. Senator, let's see, I have the name here, Josh Hawley, Republican from Missouri, I think, announced a bill that would ban loot boxes and pay-to-win microtransactions. Hey, Sagers. I'm just reading this right off the article here. This is the Kotaku article. Okay. I can't read it if you're there. I'll hold you, buddy. Senator Josh Hawley today announced a bill that would ban loot boxes and pay-to-win microtransactions in quote-unquote games played by minors, a broad label that the senator says will include both games designed for kids under 18 and games, quote, whose developers knowingly allow minor players to engage in microtransactions, end quote. Hawley will introduce the bill, the Protecting Children from Abusive Games Act, to the U.S. Senate soon. Press materials, blah, blah, blah. Holly's team brought up the Activision game Candy Crush as an egregious example of pay-to-win microtransactions thanks to its $150 Luscious bundle that comes with a whole bunch of goodies. This bill will likely include a host of online games that feature loot boxes and other ways in which players can spend money for real benefits. Okay. There's a bunch to unpack here. And buddy, I gotta put you down. There's a bunch to unpack here. And a lot of it is ridiculous. What happened on Twitter? Yeah, I don't know. Problems with the phone at the moment. Okay. Scan companies, no, yeah. Okay. I'm gonna start at the beginning of this, and I'm gonna everything I read there. I'm gonna stop every time I say something wrong. There's more to this article too. There's not a whole lot more. Well, when a game is designed for kids, game developers shouldn't be allowed to monetize addiction. And when kids play games designed for adults, they should be walled off from compulsive microtransactions. We're gonna start. I'm gonna read through this, and then I'm gonna pick this thing apart because I have kind of a problem here. I have several. Announced a bill that would ban loot boxes and pay-to-win microtransactions in quote-unquote games played by minors. My understanding is that most kids' games don't have microtransactions. And if they do, you need a credit card. If the parents are putting in their that's a big thing. You need a credit card for most of this stuff. If the parents are putting in the credit card number, the parents are saying it's okay. So you have no right to ban people from that. And I'm sorry that I got the article open, so I'm not gonna be seeing chat a whole lot. Yeah, and if you use your bank account, you need to be over 18. So right off the bat, that's an error. A broad label that the senator says will include both games designed for kids under 18, which we just talked about, and whose developers knowingly allow minor players to engage in microtransactions. That's not something that you can determine, though. You can't determine which companies are saying it's totally okay and which companies are saying absolutely not. They're all saying absolutely not because you need a credit card. You need a bank account. You need your parents' permission. There are no companies out there doing that. So that's incorrect. So you can't do that. Hawley will introduce the bill with the Protecting Children from Abusive Games Act. That I have a problem with because it has not. Abusive games makes it sound like it's the content of the game, and it's not the content of the game. It's the presence of loot boxes and microtransactions, which I also have an issue with. Wait. Okay, here we go. Won't somebody please think of the children? Impress material. This is one that sort of got me here. Impress Materials announcing the bill. Hawley's team brought up the Activision game Candy Crush as an egregious example of pay-to-win microtransactions thanks to its $150 Luscious bundle that comes with a whole bunch of games. I know 0 children that play Candy Crush. Every single person I have met that plays or played Candy Crush is an adult. I have never met a child that plays Candy Crush. I'm not saying they don't exist. I'm just saying that as somebody who interacts with the gaming community on a regular basis, I feel like I would have at least met a couple of kids that do. And never have I heard of a child that plays Candy Crush. I don't think I've met anyone under 30 that plays. Exactly, Lilac. I know they're out there. I've never met them. Never. I'm surprised Candy Crush is still popular. Press play. It's probably not, but you know how senators are. He's probably going on the last popular game he heard. Because it's a form of gambling. And here to yeah. And Fox, all of that makes perfect sense. That's I was gonna get to that because I have another problem with the whole loot boxes and microtransactions. People still play Candy Crush. Candy Crush was in the Emoji Movie. Kids love it. Out of touch person is out of touch. More at 11. That comes with a whole bunch of goodies. The bill will likely apply to a host of online games that feature loot boxes and other ways in which players can spend money for real benefits. I appreciate that you call them real benefits, so we stop acting like this stuff is all made up. It's real because it's important to people. When a game is designed for kids, game developers shouldn't be allowed to monetize addiction. I'll give you that. I'm right there with you on that one. And when kids play games designed for adults, they should be walled off from compulsive microtransactions. I think adults should be walled off from compulsive microtransactions. Game developers who knowingly exploit children, and that's the problem. I don't think that they're knowingly exploiting children. They're trying to exploit everybody, not just children. I have one more problem with this. Here, because I agree with some of this. I agree with the idea that, especially for games that are aimed at children, there should not be any kind of microtransactions. Again, you still need your credit card and all of that stuff. I was going to voice my opinion, but I don't want to get slow. Oh boy. Don't worry, Lizard. We probably have the same opinion. We probably have a similar opinion, because I feel like I've got a popular take, but at the same time, I feel like it's a hot take. But, you know, it's the internet, so I feel like everything is a hot take nowadays, because there's always somebody going to disagree with you. I agree that there should not be randomized loot boxes. I absolutely agree with that. That is a form of gambling. I don't care if your argument is, well, at least you get something. No, that's not how it works. If I put a slot machine in a grade school that took quarters, but every time you pulled the handle, you got at least a penny back, that would not make it okay. It's still not okay. It's still monetizing it's still monetized randomization. It's not okay. That's what gambling is. I am fine with everything else. I am fine with microtransactions. I don't like pay to win, but I'm fine with it existing. How many times do we have to say this in every area of existence? You don't get to stop something from happening simply because you don't like it. I don't like pay to win, so I don't pay to win. And when pay to win starts to take over the game that I am playing, I stop playing that game and move on. I am fine with them existing. I am fine with microtransactions. They had the thing where what was the Call of Duty game, I think it was, where you could pay like $1 something and you can change your little reticle into a smiley face or something. I think they had different reticles that you could change it to. It was like $1, $1.50. Fine, go ahead, do it. Yes, there are going to be some compulsive people that say there's something to buy, so I've got to buy it. But I don't feel like it's everybody else's job to police that. You're allowed to do that stuff. And we're talking about pay to win. We're talking about not just cosmetic stuff. Because that's the thing, when people, because we know Fortnite's going to come up in all of this. The thing with Fortnite is everything in Fortnite is cosmetic only. It even says it. It says it right on the screens. It says it right on the main screen and right on the sales screen. These are cosmetic changes only. They do not affect gameplay at all. I don't like when people say, oh, I have to buy all of these skins and buy all of this stuff. No, you don't have to buy anything. You can run around Fortnite from day one to today in the default skin and never have more or less of an advantage over anybody else. That's not pay to win. They're just microtransactions. If you don't like them, don't use them. And I know that that's not a super popular take, but the reality is grown-ups need to be able to decide whether or not they want to do this. If they have a problem where an addiction really is the word it should be using. If they have an addiction to buying these sorts of things, it is up to them to try and get help. It is up to the people around them to tell them, I am concerned that you have got something going on. It's no different than alcoholism or drug use or anything like that. Step one is for them to admit they have a problem, but sometimes step 0 is for someone else to point out that they have a problem. But beyond that, you don't have a right to tell companies not to do that. You have a right to tell companies not to put randomized loot boxes. They're not allowed to randomize everything because that is gambling. Hold on. We're gonna cover from gambling addiction. I'm not sure the entire industry should stop microtransactions and limit their profits just to be. Yeah, Gabby, it's not fair to them. It's not fair. It's not fair to everybody else who likes that stuff. How do you pick and choose who you cater to? If microtransactions are optional and you don't need them to play the game, I can understand that. Yeah, it's the games that force you to get microtransactions in order to enjoy the game. Well, Neon Mole, that right there is an opinionated statement, though. If it forces you to get microtransactions to enjoy the game, what is it about the game that is not enjoyable? You know, again, if you need microtransactions in order to be competitive in a game, that's pay to win. That means that other people are paying to win and you're not paying enough to catch up to them. That's a problem. But if I can play the game for 100 hours and get this set of guns, or I can pay $20 and get this set of guns, you could argue that, okay, well, the people who have money are just going to buy it first, but that doesn't mean you can't get it at all. And again, that's in games where that's the kind of microtransactions we're talking about. This makes it sound like they're going after just microtransactions. Like, you're not allowed to do that, because then you need to define everything. Then you need to define what's a game for kids, what's a game for adults, what's a game for adults that companies are letting kids play. What is defined in a microtransaction? What is defined in DLC? Some people separate. I personally separate microtransactions from DLC. What constitutes what? You know, if you could argue that, as ridiculous as it sounds, because I've learned in this world that if there's a ridiculous way to do something, someone's going to figure out how to do it. You could argue that a new storyline DLC in a game, since it can be played in an open world setting, that's randomization. Someone could claim, oh, well, it's randomized because they don't know what's going to happen in that downloadable content. It's like, someone's going to do it. Someone's going to say something stupid like that, like I did. People buying games for $60 is for a hat. People buying $60 games for a hat. Plus Fortnite, they sell them in packs instead of loot boxes. Well, Arwing, they also sell individual items, and that's the thing that we were talking about. Randomized purchases versus you know what you're going. That's why if you buy something in a store, that's the microtransaction. That's, you're buying a skin, you're buying a wrap for your gun, or a reticle, a targeting reticle, or something like that. You know what you're getting for your money, and you will not get an advantage in the game for having that thing. You're not allowed to tell companies to stop making that, and you're not allowed to tell people that they're not allowed to buy it. Like, you could tell them that they shouldn't. I've been playing Fortnite since season 4, halfway through season 4. Season 9 just started. I've put $10 into that game. I bought the battle pass halfway through season 4. That's as much as I've put into that game as far as cash goes. I understand, but I don't think it's fair if I want to play a game like Battlefield 2 and not be able to play well, unless I spend either hundreds to unlock one thing or spend money to get it early. Plus the Battlefield 2 cases. Well, Battlefield 2 was randomized loot boxes. That was a problem. I do agree that parents should be more responsible for their children. We're gonna jump ahead here. But again, I feel like the issue fell asleep on the comic. What? On the comic Sabrina up is that what? Oh. All right, you lost me on that one. I miss unlocking stuff, beating the story mode. Yeah, AR, and there's plenty of games that still have that stuff. Even Fortnite. We mentioned Fortnite. Fortnite, I get all of my skins and everything through the Battle Pass, and every Battle Pass gives me enough points to buy the next Battle Pass. That's how I haven't spent all that money. But I have tons of skins, I have tons of wraps and all kinds of cool stuff, and I paid $10 for it a year ago. You know, because I play the game, because I do the challenges that the game presents. You know, I watch some of the competitive players, and the competitive players, I hear them griping all the time about a million different things. But one of the things they gripe about is, oh, well, these challenges have all these scrubby players in the areas where we're trying to play the game. I've actually heard competitive Fortnite players say stuff like that. But they're keeping the game afloat. See, I'm not keeping Fortnite afloat. My $10 a year ago is not what's keeping the game afloat. What's keeping the game afloat is the lower tier players who like to buy things, who like to do the challenges, and they're buying the battle pass. That's who's keeping the game up. Autocorrect got me that time. Okay, we're gonna try this again. I agree with you about the parents thing. Parents should be more responsible for what their children do, but I think the issue is that people in the comments bring up is that it's psychological stuff surrounding it that's causing the addiction. Not the microtransactions just being there. As I said, if microtransactions are optional and are not necessary to play the game, I've got no problem with them. So you're I don't know, but I think the issue is that people is that it's the psychological stuff that is the issue. It's definitely the psychological stuff that is the issue, but you shouldn't be allowed to tell people that it's their fault. If I throw a party and I have alcohol and someone shows up to my party knowing that there's alcohol and yells at me and says, "How dare you have alcohol at your party?" Because it's my party and I can do what I want. If you don't like it, don't come to the party. This is sort of the same situation. If you know that it's there, if the game blatantly says this game contains microtransactions, which I believe some of them actually do label it that way. If you have accepted, hey Rye, what's going on? If you have come to terms with the fact that you have an addiction issue, you don't have a right to tell a company, "I need you to take your microtransactions out because I want to play your game, but I have a problem and I can't stop myself from buying stuff." You don't have a right to tell them that. You don't, and that's why. And I think the randomized loot boxes is an issue. Is gambling. The randomized loot boxes is gambling. But thank you, Rye. But the rest of it is not. The rest of it is not randomized. You know exactly what's coming, and you know that you don't have to buy it. I think the difference is you're selling alcohol to him once he gets to the party. Yeah, that's the problem. How dare you expose my child to alcohol? I'm gonna need to speak to your manager about this. It's my party, my brain. I can cry if I want to. Don't worry, Omega. I almost did that too. I'll take care of this. Oh, there we go. Thank you. You beat me to it, Rye. You're like, what? Why? Yeah, I just don't have a problem. Hey, DB. I don't have a problem with microtransactions. I don't like pay to win, but I don't have a right to. I don't like pay to win, so I don't involve myself with it. And when a game is pay to win, and I'm starting to see it from the other players, I don't involve myself with it. I just move on to another game. I don't understand what people's fascination is with forcing themselves to be somewhere that they admittedly don't want to be. Why would you play a game that has microtransactions, that has not randomized, knowing microtransactions, that you can buy skins and you can buy little cosmetic changes here and there, and play the game and say, "How dare you?" Don't play it. I feel like I'm talking to a brick wall when I say that, because I know that people are set in their ways and that's just what they're going to be. It just bothers me. Like, don't do it. You know, I had a conversation months ago, some way back. My cat Ashes says hi. Hello Ashes, and hey IQ. I had a conversation months back, and we were talking about racism and being treated differently for being a race, being whatever race you are, or for not being a certain race. And the person said to me, I've never encountered racism like that. Like being in a store and they follow you around or they treat you differently. You can tell that they're treating you differently because you're Hispanic instead of something else. And I said, I have encountered that plenty of times, but I don't go there anymore. Like, like it sucks, but I don't go there. You know what I mean? So when I get to a game and it's, there's a bunch of microtransactions here and you can buy better guns, I don't play it. I just don't understand. And I know that they're trying to look out for addicts, but you can only go so far with that before they have to take responsibility into their own hands. Hey, pay to win, but I don't mind microtransactions. I'd be a hypocrite if I did, to be honest. Some of the stuff I bought for Final Fantasy XIV, people tend to forget the companies are also to make money. Yeah. And that's the thing. Lilac, I hate pay to win, but I don't mind microtransactions. Likewise, I don't like pay to win either. And I'm fine with microtransactions, but I don't have a right to tell game developers how to make their game because of it. And the funny thing is, all of this is involved in adult games because this shouldn't be in kids' games. And even if it isn't kids' games, kids need a credit card, which means at some point, unless they stole their parents' credit card, P to win, unless they stole their parents' credit card, the parents are okay with it. If you are a parent who has a child that plays a game that has microtransactions and you put your credit card in, your credit card information or your bank account information for them, that is you signing your name on a contract that says, I am okay with my child buying stuff. Maybe there are conditions. Maybe there is the condition that your child has to tell you what they're buying, or they're only allowed to buy one thing a week or something like that. But you're saying that it's okay. I pay to win by buying game. Yeah, Mike, that Michael guy, exactly. My version of pay to win is buy the game and kick its ass. That's my pay to win. Maybe it's a sequel to a game. Look how Dead Space ended up. I was ruined because of my. Okay, Hawk. I thought Dead Space was ruined because people hated the third game. In all seriousness, I played Dead Space 1 and 2, and when I went to play 3, everybody's like, nah, it's not a good game. I didn't even know there were microtransactions in that game. I think loot boxes should work like a gumball machine. Sure, you might need to play a while, but eventually you'll get everything in the machine. See, Dragoon Knight, to me, that's still randomized. You're still randomizing the game, because what if I want to pay and I only want one specific outfit? Now you're randomizing what I'm going to get, and I have to keep buying things until I get that costume. That's still it's still an element of randomization. I think all of that needs to be removed. I need to be able to go to the store, look at this costume, and say, that's what I want, pay for it, and get that costume. What about those games you say there's a resource that restocks every 5 minutes to an hour, but you can pay to get it now? Fox, then don't pay. I've played a couple of games like that. SimCity Build It, the one that came out a couple of years ago. That's like that. There were a couple other games that I played where the resources respawn or you can pay for them. I let them respawn until I got tired of doing that, and then I stopped playing the game. And I know that I feel like I sound like I'm speaking as somebody who doesn't understand addiction. While I've never gotten to the point where I'm like selling my stuff in order to be addicted to something, I did get into situations with a lot of different games where I have trouble managing my time. And I find out that I'm not doing all of the things that I'm supposed to be doing because I find myself playing this game more than I should be. When I first started WoW, the first maybe month or so, actually a couple months, I was playing it way too much, to the point where I was cooking dinner with my laptop open so that I could keep playing the game. It became apparent to me very quickly that that was causing a problem. And I stopped. So I scaled it back. I started to manage my time better on how I was playing it. And then, of course, after a few years, the game just got boring. Where it's you're basically forced to pay. Yeah, Elements. One of the games that I played was like that, and I just stopped playing it. I've refused to pay. Yeah, actually, a couple of months. Was it as bad as Johnny's Final Fantasy XIV addiction? I don't know, because Johnny was still getting his videos out. See, the thing with Johnny is that Johnny's job is making content, so he didn't have to contend with a 9-to-5 and make content and play the game. I didn't notice his content suffering from playing Final Fantasy XIV. I noticed my life was suffering from playing too much WoW. Really tough. I rushed out the comment and should have checked the. That's okay. Yeah, it's all right, Neon Mole. It's okay. I just do watch with the autocorrect, because at one point it said Sabrina, and I thought we were having a different conversation. Cragman, what's going on? What did I miss so far? We're talking about loot boxes and how amazing they are. Yeah, it's a controlled addiction. Rami, that's. I mean, I guess that's an oxymoron. I guess the whole nature of addiction is that it's or I would say the idea of addiction is that it's uncontrollable. But yeah, it kind of is. Pretty sure legitimately addicted to League of Legends is another one that has a bunch of transactions. I hate playing it. Whenever I play it, I somehow managed to become a worse player than I already am. One time I had a really bad session. I literally felt sick. And yet I felt empty when I don't play it. Yeah, see, that's kind of what addiction sounds like. What do teenage witches have to do with loot boxes? I don't know. Ask Neon Mole's autocorrect. Yeah, Mega, I don't know. I wasn't really sure. So yeah, so I mean, the bottom line is for that microtransaction idea is that randomized loot boxes I don't like, and I think that they should be removed from games because I think they are gambling. Everything else, if you're willing to put the money forward and you know exactly what you're getting and you get exactly what you're getting, I don't know that you really can tell companies that they're not allowed to do that. There's just too much gray area to figure out how to control that, and realistically, it's probably not up to them to control that. It's like telling, going back to the alcohol reference, it's like telling alcohol companies that they're not allowed, that they have to start making non-alcoholic beer because some people might have a drinking problem. There's a point where you don't have you can control where the stores that sell these games, or I mean, you can't because it's all online now. You can control stuff like that. And then hello to Indigo. We miss Indigo. You can control stuff like that, but I don't know that it's fair that you can go right up to the top of the company and tell them you need to stop because some people might have a problem with it. I just think it's a little risky. Of the gym. Oh God, yeah. If you don't like it, just look the other way. What about season passes like Smash or DBZ, where you're getting a few characters but not who? Are you getting randomized loot characters, or you don't know, or you randomized loot characters, randomized characters, or is everybody getting the same characters? You just don't know who they are yet. Because that's different. That's a different kind of randomization. That's a randomization for everyone across the board. If that's the case, you could argue that there are 4 more characters coming to Smash Brothers. We don't know who they are yet, so buying Smash Brothers is gambling. If everybody's getting the same thing, then it's not the same kind of gambling. Yeah, everyone's getting the same character. No, then that's not the same kind of gambling. But again, up front. You buy this game, there's a season pass if you want to get certain characters. The only difference there is that characters in a fighting game can be considered pay to win depending on the quality of the character. But since you know that, it's up to you whether or not you want to enter the game. No one's forcing you to play the game. The game itself has an entry fee, doesn't it? Don't you have to buy DBZ Heroes or DB for whatever the heck, whatever Fighter Z? Don't you have to buy it before you can start doing it? It's not a free game, right? It's not a free to download game and then you pay for everything else. Hey, Bayonetta and Cloud were fair and reasonable characters. Yeah, King New Game. That's people thought that Bayonetta was wildly overpowered against everybody else. If you start calling that randomization because you didn't know that Bayonetta was coming to the game, where's the line? And that's exactly my point. I would trust all of this more if it was in the hands of people that understood the gaming industry. But the bottom line is the people that are making these decisions don't play video games regularly. They do not understand this industry. We had this conversation with the whole Fallout 76 canvas bag, the whole bag gate situation. These decisions are coming from people in politics who don't understand video games. They don't understand the concept of DLC. You know, they don't understand what it means to do all of this stuff, and that's a problem. And she got hard nerfed. Well, I'm gonna get more and more frustrated. I should have actually come down and check and see. Oh, was there? Oh, honestly, I'm still a little mad about how this turned out, especially because of the Sabrina thing. It's totally okay. It's totally okay. You know how we are. We're lighthearted here. We don't judge too much. Ironically, I'm waiting to see who all the characters are in Smash DLC before buying the pass. Ziego, I am doing the exact same thing. I know that the next 4 characters out of the 5 characters total, we don't know who they are yet. I don't know if it's going to be worth my money. So I make the conscious decision to not buy it. It doesn't affect my current gameplay at all. All it means is that I have one character that I can't play with. That's it. I play with Villager all the time anyway. But I make the conscious decision. It is not for me to tell Nintendo, you need to tell us who these characters are because at this point they're random and that's unfair. Yeah, I don't judge out loud. Yeah, Fox, that's right. I wish I had a winning bell. Oh, that's a little loud. Yeah, I don't judge out loud. I will buy any season pass because I want my roster to be complete. Side tangent. What do you think of Crash being? I love that idea. I love the idea of Crash being in Smash. My problem is, will Sony let it happen? Hey, Chips, what's going on? All right. I want to jump topics because we went along with that topic. And again, I was not expecting to go along with these topics, but here we are. Are pre-orders randomized? You don't know the quality of the game. Good question, Gabby. Maybe that'll come up in the Senate hearings. Okay. We got to talk about it. We got to talk about Sony's State of Play. I'm going to go over the list of games that we saw. There was not much else to talk about in the State of Play. There was not a whole lot of production value. There was not a big stage show or anything like that. I'm going to start by saying, anyway, I Platinum Persona 5. Congratulations, new game. I will one day bronze the game by playing it. I will start by saying this. It was better than the last one. The last State of Play was their very first one. I think they're improving. First of all, I think they didn't talk about VR the whole damn time. I'm sorry, Sony, if this ever gets back to Sony, Mr. Sony, whatever his name, or Ms. Sony, whatever their name is. VR is not enough of a thing to cover an entire State of Play. So don't do that anymore. Have a small section in your State of Play that talks about upcoming VR games. Don't do a whole thing with that anymore. It's ridiculous. But they're getting better. This one was actually a little more interesting. It's a little more streamlined, a little too streamlined. I do like when there's a little bit of fluff in the middle, even though it puts us to sleep half the time. So the state of play, I'm gonna be looking down because I got everything on my phone here. So the state of play started, and it started with a Final Fantasy VII noise. So I knew we were gonna the icon switching noise. So I knew we were gonna get some Final Fantasy VII. The first thing we got was Monster Hunter World Iceborne, coming out on June 9th. 6-9. Sorry, UK people. We do it the other way around here. So for you, it's 9-6, but that's boring. I don't play Monster Hunter World. I mean, I'm not going to have much of an opinion about most of this stuff, just other than how I thought it looked. But I don't really play most of it. Well, I mean, all of this stuff is coming out, but like Monster Hunter World, I don't play. I mean, anybody, if there's any Monster Hunter fans, you can start right now and start talking about how great Monster Hunter World is. I don't. What they showed good? I don't really know. I heard it as Iceborne. Yeah, Iceborne. I mean, I guess ice porn works too, but so those dildos are cold. What? I turned out for Monster. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. This was me. Where is it here? Hold on. Where's my favorite gift for this? This was me for a lot of the time. That's it. This guy gets it. That was me for a lot of it. That was pretty much every new thing started, and I woke up and clapped, and that was it. So the Monster Hunter World went by. Then this game River Bond started, which I don't even remember it. I kind of remember it a little bit. It was sort of okay. I remember thinking, oh, this is pretty cool. I think it was like a survival game. I relate with that gift. It was not very memorable, and that's kind of the problem with most of this stuff here. It's not very memorable. Next came Predator Hunting Grounds, which was the what do they call it? It's an asymmetrical team combat game. Basically, it's the Friday the 13th game. Somebody will play, and then one person will be the Predator, and everybody else will be the Commandos. And the point is to fight. Ba weep grana weep ninny bong. I've got that sound somewhere here. Hold on. I mean, it looked okay. You know, you got to be the Predator. You get all the cool Predator sound effects from the '87 movie. You know, I mean, you're the Predator. That's kind of awesome. I just need Alien vs. Predator, the arcade game, but this is fine. Then came Medieval, and I think that a lot of people were super excited to see Medieval. Medieval, I never had a huge following for. I can't wait for it to go free to play to try and save itself. I never had a huge a huge boner for it, because he's a skeleton. Keep it going while I find my sound effect. It looked great. It looked a lot of fun. I question why, and I guess they're remaking the whole game. I guess they're redoing the entire game. Oh, thank you. Yes, AR Mega Man. Thank you for that. I don't know if I'm going to do anything with them, but I did save them. I mean, is it a complete remake? Because what I'm trying to figure out is, why is there part 1 and not part 2? Why wouldn't it be both of them at once? And that's, if it's a complete overhaul, if it's a rebuilt from the ground up game, I get, okay, then that's fine. That's fine. That was my question. If it was just a remaster, or if it was a complete overhaul. If it's a complete brand new remake of the first game, then that's fine. I got a bone to pick with you, Greg. That's okay. Yeah, it sounds like a remake and not a remaster. So we're okay with that. I mean, as long as they don't turn it into a turn-based game when it was originally an action game. Ooh, I don't have an ooh button. So I mean, it looks good. it's just a matter of what are we, when are we going to see it? What are we going to see? Whether or not they're going to do part 2 or not. Remake Matt running in the distance. We still talking about medieval. Yeah. Well, I'm just saying that it's basically Crash and Spyro HD games in the same vein, but didn't they include multiple games? Crash included all 3. I don't know how many the Spyro thing included. So it just seems weird to me that in this situation we're only getting 1 game, considering that there was only one more game. You know what I mean? It feels like, oh well, if you were remaking them, why don't you just do them together? Make one big gigantic game. Yeah, I knew there were Medieval 1 and 2, but I wasn't sure if there was like another one somewhere else that I didn't see, because like I said, I didn't follow the series, so it's a little weird that they're only doing part 1, but if it's a full rebuild, that's totally fine. We'll see what the price is. That's always I'm a big stickler for that. I'm a big stickler for the idea that price dictates value. Spyro had 3, yeah, so it's a little weird that the Crash and Spyro remakes were complete graphic rebuilds, but they got trilogy compilations, and this is only getting 1 game. There was one on PSP. Oh, but that was a remaster of the 3rd. Okay, so I know there was Medieval somewhere else. All right, so after that was Away. It was this animal survival game where you were like a badger or something, and it was a survival game. It was like a forest survival game. Like a lot of things in this state of play. I mean, it was very short, and it was unfortunately also very forgettable. I think that at least a couple of these things are going to come out. We're going to be within a week or 2 of them coming out, and people are going to say, "Oh yeah, I kind of forgot that was coming." I think it's because the original is more memorable than Medieval 2. While Crash and Spyro trilogy are equally recognizable. You know what's gonna happen though, press play. People are gonna say, well, where's the second one? They're gonna play the first one, they're gonna say, where's the second one? Alright, so you're joking there, but I have a legit you have a legit problem with Final Fantasy VII, a story and characters. Alright, we'll get to that. We'll get to that because I know that the bulk of this is gonna be Final Fantasy VII, and I know that most people are probably gonna not like what I have to say about it. Wow, a badger. Yeah, it was like a badger or a beaver bear or something. Then we got a limited edition system, which was like a jet black system or something. I don't know, limited edition systems. I mean, is there anybody here that already has a PS4 that rushes out to get the next limited edition system? I don't have a lot of money, so the whole idea just seems weird to me. I do like the idea of limited edition controllers. I always think that that's kind of cool, because you can always use more controller. I mean, only up to like 4, but I don't mind that. But limited edition whole systems this late in the life that don't do anything different. You know what I mean? It's one thing to say, oh, well, you've got the PS4, and here we are late in the system's life. All right, I'm going to give you the PS4, but this version also plays PS3 games, PS2 games. That's different hardware. This is literally the same hardware in a different skin. And yeah, is it even a PS4 Pro, or is it just a PS4? I purposely got a PS4 Pro because I wanted to play some stuff I had before. And okay, yeah. By the way, hey, Agent 501, can we get a selection of neon PS4 colored pink, green, pink, yellow, orange, or red? Rye, I think what you meant is watermelon. No, I'm sorry, green apple, watermelon, dandelion, sunset, and fire engine. Because if it's Nintendo, they're gonna come up with weird names for it. Then they'll just call it red and blue. Yeah, I think they're just trying to sell off as many PS4s as they can. You know what, Pancho? That's actually an interesting idea. Do you think that these are just internal systems that they have, and they're just manufacturing new different colored shells to get rid of them? Actually, it's a discless PS4 to sell to folks for cheaper. No. um yeah, I mean, it seems logical. It seems logical if they've got tons of hardware still laying around and they want to get rid of it, all they need to do is manufacture new shells and try and get rid of some of them. Gonna see Endgame tomorrow. Get ready to cry. Very much. And then after the limited edition system, the state of play ended, and there was nothing else to talk about. Nothing of interest happened. There were no other announcements, and I mean, we all went back to playing our Switch and thinking about how amazing Endgame was. There were no other issues. Nothing of value was lost. No. The Final Fantasy VII Remake was finally showed. They showed it, and it has garnered a multitude of takes on how people feel about all of this. So we're shown again. But I feel like this was the first real showing for it. This feels like the first time anybody's ever seen it. We got to see a lot of stuff. We got to see some of the combat system. We got to see the mood for the game, and for what they showed us already. Thoughts on 7? 1, yay, I'm okay. It will never outdo the original. I don't have a PS4. Ryan versus Johnny on Twitter. I like Cloud's voice. I liked all of the voices. Okay. I should have written this down. I should have broken this down in 2 parts. I'm going to first, let's talk about what I liked. I'm going to talk about what I liked about it, which was, first of all, the graphics were gorgeous. Yes, they ditched the super deformed characters for walking around in the outside world. But I don't mind that, because it does look a little more up to date. The super, I love super deformed characters, the little tiny characters with the big chubby arms and everything. But because they look so blocky, I think trying to recreate that might look a little weird. Not to mention the fact that when you got into the combat of the game did have realistic looking characters, or realistically sized characters. So I'm okay with ditching the super deformed look for the tall characters. I don't mind that. Graphically, other than just the design of the characters, graphically, I think it looked amazing. I think the game looked gorgeous. I think that it's exactly what I would love to have seen in a Final Fantasy VII Remake as far as the graphics go. Sounded fantastic. The music sounded fantastic for what we heard. The super deformity was a product of its time. Absolutely. I like that we got to see it. That's a good thing that I liked about it. What I didn't like about it, I am in the camp that I don't like that it's going over to an action format. I think that is, I don't know how damaging it is, because I think that a lot of people who don't like it because it's not turn-based will be offset by people who do like it because it's not turn-based. So I think that there's going to be a balance there. I don't think it's going to hurt sales too much. That being said, I would still prefer it to be a turn-based RPG. I think that Final Fantasy VII, in its original form, did wonders for introducing people to turn-based RPGs. I would prefer it stays that way. I feel like we're not getting a whole lot of turn-based RPGs nowadays, and even the RPGs that we are getting try and do extra stuff with that. A lot of things are going towards action. That is me though. That is just me though. I don't think it's going to damage the reputation of the game too much. The original game is still out there. I wish that they could do the graphics overhaul and then add some sort of turn-based mode. I really wish they could do that. I'm not saying that they can. I don't think it will damage the game too much, but it'll be harder for new people to go back to the original. Yes, that is an issue, because there was somebody, I forget who it was, that was saying on Twitter that it will cause people to want to go back to play the old game. But no, it won't, because when they go back to play the old game and find out that it's a turn-based RPG, they'll immediately be put off of it. So they won't go back to the original game. This is for a generation of new fans who know about the story, fans who know about the characters, but maybe are not fans of the turn-based system. I would still prefer that it stays turn-based, but I don't always get what I want, and that's okay. Yeah, I don't see them. Yeah, they're not going to add it. They're not going to add a gameplay option. They're not going to do that. That would be outrageous. I mean, this game probably isn't going to be released before I die of old age. But I don't get why they ditched the turn-based combat to begin with. In my opinion, a remake's main audience is the people who play the original and newcomers. People who play the original are going to be annoyed that it's not turn-based, and newcomers are going to be confused when they want to play more Final Fantasy games and find out 70% of them are turn-based. Also, it's been so long since we had it, and that's one of my biggest issues. I actually just rewatched I forgot that we talked about this on the Heavy Rain playthrough, the episode that went up today. You're making this game. You've chosen this game to remake because of the nostalgia attached to it. The fact that it is a classic game. Everybody knows it. You say Final Fantasy VII. You say Final Fantasy, and a lot of people will reference Final Fantasy VII because that's the first introduction to the series. You're remaking Final Fantasy VII because you know that exists. Don't change some of the core aspects of this, I'm not even sure why. Because what you're doing is you're removing the nostalgia. Part of the nostalgia is that it is a turn-based game. You're removing a major component for the game by doing that. If you took the game out and made the exact same game and you changed everybody's name, you'd be removing kind of a core component of the game. Sure, it'd be exactly the same game, but it wouldn't be the game that everybody knows. It wouldn't be the story and the characters that everybody knows. There are aspects of the game that you're not supposed to change. Remakes, I prefer to be graphic overhauls and updates, music overhaul and updates, sound overhaul and updates, quality of life issues that need to be fixed, errors that need to be fixed. Those are the kinds of things that need to be addressed in a remake. Changing the core aspects of the game don't qualify to me as a good remake. We talked about Medieval a second ago. I made the joke about what if they turned it into a turn-based game. Would you consider that a remake of Medieval 1 if they made it into a turn-based RPG? It would not be. At best, it would be a reimagining. It would be a reimagining of the story and the gameplay of the story into a different kind of gameplay. Yeah, reimagine it. Long arms. We're on the freaking money, man. We are right there. Yeah, we never got a Final Fantasy VI remake. What the hell? Press play. I'm glad we didn't get a Final Fantasy VI remake because now we can get one with Octopath Traveler's graphics. I'm gonna bust. Hunter, am I driving you crazy? If you're gonna bust, let us know so we can take precautions. Let me see. Final Fantasy VII remake starting Cloud, Clud, Barry, and Tiffle. Yeah, I feel like changing that is not okay. Again, going back to the DLC and the conversation we had before, I know that it's probably not going to be something that I know that it's an aspect that I'm not going to enjoy very much. So I will decide whether or not entry into that game is worth it for me. Might just be because the sort of gameplay style will sell, but well, Gabby, they think it'll sell better. That's the kind of thinking that turned Paper Mario away from RPG, turn-based RPG, and is pissing me off. Another thing that I don't like about it, because the original Final Fantasy VII remake was going to be turn-based. if older trailers go by, but when they cyber connect, okay. Imagine if Breaking Bad came out in a new season, it's telling to build a 40 premiere, and then it's a 1940 style black and white noir. Yeah, with the same characters. Yeah, it would New Blaze. Nobody would accept it. Nobody would accept it because it changes the core aspect of it. Turn-based in Final Fantasy 7 was kind of jank. People, Arwing, no. I never remember anybody talking about it being janky. I think the problem with Final Fantasy VII, as far as a turn-based game and people being upset about it, was that it was a lot of people's first introduction into turn-based games, and they didn't understand it. Final Fantasy Tactics was one of my first entrances into the tactical RPG combat system, like the strategy style. I didn't like it at first. It just took a lot of getting used to, but eventually I got a hang of it, and it's fantastic. I played a lot of RPGs before Final Fantasy VII came out. I still think 6 is better than 7. So it was just a new system that you had to get used to. It was not jank. It was just new. I didn't see it that way anyway. Not janky. Yeah, slow because it was turn-based. But since the Final Fantasy VII had so many players that had never really played turn-based RPGs before, they didn't understand it. I worked at a game store, and I can't tell you how many times I sold Final Fantasy because they heard that this Final Fantasy game's really good and came back wondering why they couldn't just run over and hit the guy with the sword. It was a new experience for a lot of people, and it was not one that a lot of people liked. Just call this Final Fantasy VII game a spin-off. Don't call it a remake. Yeah, because it's you're changing up a core aspect of the game, so it's not a remake. Another issue that I have, they did announce that it's episodic. I don't like that. I don't like that it's episodic. Not necessarily because I don't like episodic games, but at this point, we have no idea how much we're going to get. Yes, it is episodic. They said that before that it was going to be that way, and I just saw something today that verified that elements we weren't sure because there was a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes, so we didn't know whether or not they were going to do that. But they did announce, there was an article I was reading today, and they did say that yes, it is going to still be episodic. My problem is,
your ideas are intriguing to me, and I wish to subscribe to your newsletter.
We don't know how much of the game we're going to get. Are they going to break it into 3 episodes like the discs that it originally came with? Or are we going to get 27
your ideas
parts?
Are intriguing to me, and I wish to subscribe to your newsletter.
Hyde and Official MSB, thank you so much for the follow. Very, very much appreciated, and welcome. We don't know how much these parts are going to cost. We don't know how many parts they're going to be. For all we know, this may be 10 parts at $10 a piece. That's a $100 game. Is everybody okay with paying $100 for this game? I just want to make sure, because that's the sort of questions that we now have. This is why I'm not hype about the game. I'm not hype about it because there's so much stuff that we don't know that are potentially game game breaking, I guess is the way to say it, but not game breaking as in the game breaking as your enjoyment. There's way too much that we don't know. That's a problem. That's a significant problem. So these are things that I don't like. I'll pay $100 over 5 years. Yeah, Hawkeye goes 5 years worth of playing that game. This is not the MCU. Yeah, chat's moving a little quick. One more thing that I don't like. First of all, PS4 episode 1. Phil, you actually raised an interesting issue. PS4, are these episodes going to be over on PS5? Are they going to be episodic on PS4, and then the PS5 you can buy the whole thing to put together? Let me to put it in slow mo. Is the chat moving? I mean, there's a lot of messages. Yeah, that's why. Yeah, they restarted it from scratch, so we didn't know what they were going to do. Yeah, I think we're good. We don't need slow mode. One day we'll need slow mode. But today it is not that day. But yeah, we don't know a lot of these things. One more problem that I have is we don't know what the mood of the game is going to be. And this is not something that we can find out right now. This is something that they can tell us later on. Great RPGs, in my opinion, have a lot of humor put into them. It breaks up the monotony of drab storylines. It breaks up the monotony of having to do things like grinding. It's important to have these humorous moments. The biggest moment that everybody always brings up, are we going to see Cloud in the dress? Are we going to see Cloud get all of the stuff? Are we going to have to do the little mini games required to get all of the stuff to dress him up? And are we going to dress up Cloud? And are we going to send him into Dio's mansion? Or Don Corneo? Right? Don Corneo? Are we going to send him in there? That was a humorous, enjoyable experience that to this day people still talk about. But there are more. When you are gathering the stuff for the dress, you can go over to the brothel and look in the keyholes and see what weirdness everybody's up to. I better at some point see Red 13 on the boat dressed as a sailor trying to balance himself on his two legs. That's always a funny moment for me was him on the boat and he's trying to balance himself out. I want the fun experience when we find Yuffie and you have to manipulate how you speak to her. Otherwise, she won't join your party properly. There are these moments that are fantastic. And if we don't get them, it's going to change the mood of the game. So I'm worried that we're not going to see that stuff. And these are questions that we can't... Oh, here's what I would love. I love all the boat disguises. How about the next time we see Final Fantasy VII get a video, we see another trailer for it, they throw in some of those humorous moments so that we, the fans, can look at it and say, oh my, thank God, some of that stuff's going to be in there. You know, how about this? You end, oh my God, this is it. The next trailer, you end with a behind the back silhouette of a person in a dress, and they turn and you can see the spiky hair, so you can tell that it's Cloud. We don't even need to see it. We just need to know that we're going to get that moment in the game. That, I think, will assuage a lot of people's fears about whether or not the humor and the lightheartedness that we want is going to remain in the game. Because at this point, everybody's talking about modernizing. You know, they're okay with ditching the turn-based because it's modern. It's a little more modern. Games dropping that kind of humor, unfortunately, are considered more modern. They're considered more adult. I want to see all of that stuff. I want to see Cloud squawking at the chocobo. And the winner is... yeah, hope maybe they'll change it. Maybe if we Chips, maybe if we pester them enough, they'll put out a tweet saying they're going to change it. Cloud cosplaying as Lightning. Phil, that's not a bad idea. If you're going to dress him up, if you're going to have the Cloud in a dress sequence, why not do something fun and make it a different dress? Dress him up like a character from a different Final, have him go through different outfits and have one of them be Lightning's outfit and say, I don't know. You know what I mean? Just throw in these little humorous moments. You don't have to replicate every single funny thing that happened in the original Final Fantasy VII. But I want to know that there's going to be some in there. We get the attempted mating of Aerith and Red 13. Are they going to, is that going to be a fun moment? Is that going to be wild? Here's a moment we better freaking get. We better get the highway chase scene with the motorcycle and the little truck and the amazing music. I loved that. That and One Winged Angel are probably my two favorite songs from Final Fantasy VII. Fun moment. The submarine chase, arguably the worst mini game in the arcade was the submarine chase. But it being there is important. PS1, oh my god, PS1 model mode? Now we're talking, Shadow. I don't think that was any fun for Era. Yeah, it probably wasn't. That's probably my biggest concern. More than the turn-based stuff, my biggest concern is probably just that I'm worried that the mood of the game is going to be very different. And they're gonna try and make it different for the sake of, oh well, we're updating and modernizing the game, and I don't want them to do that. So yeah, I'm not looking forward to it yet. I'm not saying that that's not going to change. If it's going by the end of the trailer, they changed some meanings of Sephiroth. See, yeah, I don't like that. You know, I do hope that they'll reference Zack and everything from Crisis Core. I wouldn't mind some references to that stuff. I mean, in all honesty, you could just remake Crisis Core and put it on the system. Or not even remake Crisis Core, just put it on the game. Oh my god, if I beat the game, I get to play Crisis Core on the PS4. Come on, do that. Tell me I can date Ketsi. Gabby, I believe that character's name is Traitor. As I name that character Traitor in every single playthrough I do of Final Fantasy VII. I brought this up a little on Johnny's Final Fantasy XIV stream last night, but I feel like with how Sony's censorship has been, especially with Sony's censorship lately, which is so weird. Is that weird to anybody else that Sony is now the censoring company and Nintendo is the one with butts all over their games? Yeah, some of this stuff probably won't make the remake. If they do keep some of this stuff, yeah, I'll be surprised. Give me a release window first. Put Crisis Core in the Switch. Oh god, put Crisis Core in the Switch. Even your first. Craig sees the future. Will Genova be nightmare fuel? And there's God, I hope so. A Crisis Core story unlocked from beating the game. Oh my god, that would be great. The remake is separate to the compilation. Yeah, no Crisis Core, no Advent Children. Yeah, when it's Sony gets so randomly picked. ARMS has butts. ARMS has butts. Zelda's got a butt. I don't know. There's SNK heroines. I mean, that's a little bit of everything. Yeah, it just seems weird to me that Nintendo is the company that's like, ooh, let's put some fan service in there. Mario's got nipples. You seen the main villain, the Hyrule Warrior, she looks like a damn Fire Emblem character. Bayonetta. Yeah, it just seems so weird to me that Nintendo's the one doing that now. Actually, I wonder, will the Final Fantasy scene of Zack's fate be a cutscene or playable? See, yeah, that's what I like. That's why when you beat the game, just throw Crisis Core on there. Oh, Urbosa. Oh. Urbosa. I don't mean to get creepy on anybody, but Urbosa is freaking gorgeous. Make Zack's final moment playable at least. That would be an interesting idea. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what ends up happening. All right. Topic change. Woo! We have viewer topics. If there's anything anybody wants to discuss, anything at all, I figure this is the format to do it. I feel like I suspect some topics, one in particular, but yeah, this is the viewer topic portion of the show. So if anybody has, you sound like you're fishing. I'm not fishing. I'm just concerned. Tetris 99. Tetris. They announced that Tetris 99, they're going to be releasing DLC for it, which is a very odd situation, because the DLC is the single player mode. I don't really have a problem with this. I don't have much of a problem with it at all. I feel like with Tetris 99, The core gameplay is online. Straight into the garbage. You got that right, Rye. The core gameplay is the online versus 98 other people. Single player mode is extra for this game. Most other games are single player Tetris experiences, and then the DLC is out already. And then maybe there's an online stuff. There's some online stuff. This is the other way around. I've seen people having an issue with this. So let me ask you for anybody out there that's watching this and listening to this and might have an issue with $9.99 paid single player mode. Would you be okay if this was the other way around? Would you be okay if they said, "Oh, you know what? Instead, we're going to give you the single player mode and you have to pay for the online mode"? If that would make this better, then I really don't understand what the problem is. The bottom line is you're going to get all of these game modes, including the online mode, for $10. Just like we said with the DLC. If you don't like the single player mode, if you don't like the idea of it, don't play it. Don't pay for it. Don't play it. Just keep playing the free version. It's basically like Fortnite's Battle Royale mode and Save the World mode. You pay for Save the World mode. You don't pay for Battle Royale mode. No one has a problem with it. Save the World mode isn't all that interesting anyway. So you don't buy it. You keep playing the free version, the version that everybody likes. There's so many ways to play Tetris, doesn't matter. I'm more distraught over not being able to get that GB style screen. Oh yeah, that would be awesome. Well, we talked about that before when we talked about what kind of DLC we would put for Tetris 99, and we talked about skins, graphic changes to what's happening that don't affect the gameplay at all, but just look different. So you could play it in Game Boy mode or something like that. What does Nintendo Online cost? There's a monthly version that I think is $3 or $4 a month or something, and then right now the yearly version I think is still $19.99. I think right now you get it for free if you've got an Amazon Prime account. Which, as much as I hate to support companies like Amazon, having an Amazon Prime account gives you a free Twitch Prime account. Which, if you do have a free Twitch Prime account, feel free to use that once a month free sub here. And it also gives you Nintendo Switch Online. It's kind of worth it for the value. Paying twice for online due to subscription, no thanks. Yeah, I just I don't have a problem with this. I don't like amazing. I don't really have a problem with it. If you don't want it, you don't buy it. It just really is that simple. It is unorthodox. I do think it is a little unorthodox, even though like we said with Fortnite does the same thing where there is a more single player version, but you have to pay for that, and you get the online mode for free. Actually, a question above. I don't like Amazon. Rocky Bear, they're just a large sort of conglomerate company. I don't think they pay their employees enough, and there's a lot of problems with it. Hold on. Token Dylan, what is going on? I see your hey there. When do you call a game retro or old school? Like when 10 years pass or more. Like you mark 3D. I mark 3D Game Heroes as retro. I've said Fortnite, and Fortnite Gangsta showed up. I'm sorry, I got my activity feed open, so I'm ready. I'm getting all of these beforehand. Well, hold on. I'm gonna keep talking about the Tetris thing a little bit. Cheer shill or fishing for subs. You have to. You got to. Man, I've been thinking about. I've been further or decided to use even go need to. Yeah, I don't know. You lost me there. That's me. So yeah, I don't mind the Tetris 99 thing. That being said, as much as I like Tetris 99, I probably won't buy it. I don't really have a whole lot of opportunities to play it, so I don't know that I'll buy it yet. Truth be told,
your ideas
I still have some
points to me, and I wish to subscribe to your newsletter.
Thank you, Harrow. I'm going to call you Harrow. Harrow69. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, I don't have a problem with it, but I probably won't buy it.
Your ideas are intriguing to me, and I wish to subscribe to your newsletter.
how long before I call a game retro? That's what. No, I'm not called. Oh, thank you so much, Lilac. Oh, I forgot to add a number. Okay, I thought I saw something. It looked a little weird. Cheers. Okay, there we go. How long before I call a game retro? At least 14 days. At least it's got to be the last generation system. Absolutely for that. I could probably, if I want to put a number on it, I would probably say around, I think console generations are normally around 7-8 years. So if I go to the early part of that console, I would say about 10 years. I think 10 years is relatively decent to call retro. For instance, 3D Dot Game Heroes. Well, okay, so 3D Dot Game Heroes for the PS3. We're playing this on stream now. I call that game retro on Twitch because I don't know that there's a category for that game specifically, and because it does have a retro aesthetic to it, so I don't mind that yet. Did my Prime go through? I don't believe so. So I don't mind labeling that as retro. That's also a Twitch issue where it's just better to label it as a retro game as opposed to the specific game. That game is part of last generation's system, but it was early in the PS3's lifetime, and we're near the end of the PS4's lifetime. Enough time has passed there where I think it's justifiable to call that retro. We as a gaming industry are already looking towards the next generation of consoles. So I think it's fair to start calling the PS3, at the very least the early PS3 stuff, retro. 3D Dot Game Heroes is in 720p. If there's any better categorization for a retro game than it's not 1080p, that's, you know, that's pretty justifiable. Like, is Resident Evil 4, I would call Resident Evil 4 retro. Resident Evil 4 was GameCube, which I don't think anybody would argue is a retro console. Yeah, I would say so. Especially if they're not remake. Like, for instance, Resident Evil 2 is retro, but the Resident Evil 2 remake is not retro. That's a brand new game that was made recently. You know, Resident Evil 4 in all of its iterations is still the original Resident Evil 4, just brought up more and more and more. That's still just, it's still a retro. The GameCube, the GameCube's absolutely a retro console. That's like 3 generations behind, right? Yeah, because you got the Switch, Nintendo's weird because they do theirs sort of in the middle. I think GameCube is like 3 or 4 generations behind. Same difference. Well, that's all the topics. Nothing else happened. Escape while you can. I would say about 10 years is a pretty decent number. If I had to put a number on it, I would say about 10, somewhere around 10 years. If I have to say, if I have to do it by console generations, I might say about a generation and a half, 2 generations behind, somewhere in that range, because some generations go on longer than others. You want single player Tetris, get Puyo Puyo. Yeah, it's what everybody tells me, but I don't like Puyo Puyo. When do you classify indie games retro? That's a bit trickier. I think classifying indie games as retro. Actually, no, I don't think that's. I think for indie games, because indie games don't necessarily follow the generational rules. I think that it's better to put a number on there. So I would probably say about 10 years. That seems pretty decent. Even if they are retro style games in look, they are not retro games. Favorite video game movie? Hopefully I did not do Prime resubscribe. I'm thinking that it did not. Dragoon Knight. I'm thinking that it did not because it looks like I have another sub here, but I don't have a notification for it. Thank you though. Very much appreciated for using your Prime sub here. They do show up. I don't know why that didn't show up. Maybe it just didn't go through yet. 10 years seems fair to call a console retro at this point. At that point, that's why I'm okay with the Wii Wii, 360, and PS3 being considered retro.
Intriguing to me, and I wish to subscribe to your newsletter.
Alpha Maverick, thank you so much for the follow. Ooh, AR Mega Man, there is a Maverick in the chat, so no fighting, you two. I have these buttons for a reason. My 2 cents into business. Okay. Yeah. I know what you're hinting at. My 2 cents is that while shitty is their business, I still feel it's bad making it so public. Okay. Okay. Fox Hawk Goggles. I see your comment. I knew somebody was going to say it. Fox asked this first earlier, and I didn't catch it. I have a quick question. Have you heard of the Analog Mega ST? Yes, I stay away from those analog systems. Because I'm not a huge fan of remade versions of consoles, and B, they're expensive. Those analog systems are very expensive, so they are basically out of my price range. I'm going to address it. Imagine down the line people saying FNAF is retro. The problem with FNAF is like 5 games came out in the span of a year, so when FNAF hits retro, they're all going to go retro at the same time. All right, so Hawk Goggles brought it up. I knew somebody was going to bring it up, and honestly, if somebody didn't bring it up, I was probably going to do it anyway. I'm not going to say much on this because this is another one of those situations where there is only one right take. There is only one smart, intelligent, decent take on all of this. The entire Pro Jared situation, I won't go into what's going on with it because there is a lot. It started out with it turned out Pro Jared cheated on his wife, which just left. No. I'm going to keep it brief because like I said, there is no multiple positions on this. Maybe for Jared. It all started out with that he cheated on his wife. That is none of our business. If whatever marital issues they have, that's not our business. The problem is then it turned into he was soliciting other people. There was a whole bunch of stuff going on, asking for nudes, all kinds of craziness. I won't get into it. Apparently there's some unsavory pictures going on. There is no positive position for him on any of this. The bottom line is he is 100% in the wrong. Dragon Knight, don't snap, for the love of God. Half the chat is going to disappear. If you follow Twitter, you know what's going on. You can find out what's going on if you really want to do that. The bottom line is there is no positive position for him on this. There is no version of this where you are on his side if you are a decent human being. And that's really it. That's really all there is to say on the matter. I won't go into the details of what's going on. I will say at the same time, Liz is not feeling so good. I hope you're actually not feeling bad, and I hope that's just a joke. I just feel bad for Ross. Okay, so here's the thing, Gabby. That is one question that I had because apparently, supposedly at some point he had, and the affair that he had was with Holly Conrad, who I was a big fan of, and she at some point was married to Ross O'Donovan, who worked with Game Grumps a little bit. He does his own thing now. I think he does interact with the Game Grumps from time to time. The situation is making me sick. I did not know this. Apparently, they broke up last year. I looked up online because I wasn't sure. I could have sworn that Holly was married to Ross. It turns out that she was married to Ross and that they broke up. Rubber Ninja, yes. It turns out that they did separate. So this is not. I don't know the details of when all of this stuff happened. For all I know, they knew about all of this stuff, and that was the situation with their divorce. But that's not our business. That's the thing. That's the only real point that I can say is that the infidelity and stuff is not our business. All of the other stuff is our business because when you involve the public, it becomes the public business, and that was what he did. I mean, I'm against it. Like, you know what I mean? This is why I say there's only one position on all of this. There is no other version of that. There is no reading all of this online and saying, well, if you think about it. No, if you think about it, you should be coming to one conclusion, and that is he is very, very, very in the wrong for all of this stuff. And I would not be surprised if at some point you get more people that start coming up and saying that there was an issue, that he was this or that. And it would not surprise me at all if it's turned into a legal matter. I did hear about the breakup when it happened. It was quite sad. He's still with Game Grumps, the company. He and Holly said, yeah, they separated last September. We don't know what the situation was. That's why I don't know when all of this stuff happened. Do you think he could possibly come back from this? No. I think that this is something where, like I said, there is not a matter of opinion on all of this. There was a right and a wrong, and he is in the wrong. So I don't see him coming back from this. Even if through some miracle he does, not anytime soon. PBG handled it wrong and mentally denying and immensely. Well, they Shadow, if you saw that PBG, they actually apologized for that. Yeah, they apologized because they didn't know. There's actually a double tweet where it's like, sorry, Jared, I hope everything's all right. And then it says, oh, I just heard about what happened. Never mind. I take it back. Like it literally says, I take it back. So that's something that happened. That is a knee-jerk reaction. When it all happened, my first thought was that everybody was having a knee-jerk reaction because there was infidelity. And I thought, okay, well, there's infidelity. That is their business. But, it sucks, but that's their business. I know on Twitch, for anybody that is familiar with Dr. Disrespect, he had a situation last year where he was unfaithful in his marriage. He had a whole big thing where he went on Twitch and he left Twitch for a little while to work on his marriage, and he made an announcement saying that he apologized, that he let his wife down and let his fans down. That's unfortunate situation for him for what had happened, but he owned up to it. And realistically, that was a problem inside of his marriage. He did not do anything that involved the public. The public was not involved until he involved them by putting out this video explaining everything that was going on. But all of that stuff was not, it didn't necessarily have to be public business. He made it public business. This Jared stuff, the stuff with his wife, that is not public business. The problem is it extends beyond that to a significantly other or significantly worse problem that involves the public. And that's it. That's really all there is to say about it. Can we really predict what's going to happen with Jarrett knowing other YouTubers and streamers? And yeah, Chips, I want to believe that there is no bouncing back after doing the kind of things that you're doing. But with the way the world, is right now, with the quality of people we have in charge, it's just hard to believe that 10 years from now we're not going to see pro Jared stuff, and people are going to be forgiving him and saying, oh well, that was in the past and you have to make up for it. And yeah, you have to make up for it, but maybe part of making up for it is that you don't get to interact with people in the same way anymore. Are there YouTubers who did something that bad, though, and came back? JonTron is probably the closest you would get to saying something, to doing something kind of horrible and bouncing back from it. And even he hasn't really bounced back. No, I don't think. I think that with social media the way it is and the nature of us fans the way we are, I think that we won't allow this to be forgotten. So I don't think so. DSP still so. Who is DSP? DSP I'm not familiar with. He really did not need to announce his divorce on Twitter. The Dr. Disrespect stuff. Yeah, the Dr. Disrespect stuff was not the fans' business, but he made it their business. But, a lot of people gave him credit for being open and honest with everybody because he did stop the thing with Darkside Phil. the thing with Dr. Disrespect was that he was going to stop streaming for a while he worked on his marriage. So I'm wondering if that he felt like he owed his fans an explanation for why he was going to stop streaming. You know, we stream 3 days a week gameplay here. We stream a fourth day. We do the talk show that we're doing here. If I was having a significant problem and I was going to stop doing this show for 2 months, stop streaming completely for 2 months, you all have supported this channel here enough that you are owed an explanation. If I was 2 weeks into it, I would just stop and say, okay, well, I'm just not doing it anymore. After a year and a half, after all of the support, all of the love, all of the friendship and fun time that we've had, I would feel like I owed you an explanation to tell you why I'm not doing it anymore and to explain the situation. You've given support here. I give you respect back. You know, that's a vital thing to do with a fan base. And I feel like that's what Dr. Disrespect was doing, was that he was respecting his fans enough to include them in what was going on. I appreciate you standing up. I'm happy to say no. Just left the first island in Lunar. Fighting in the darkness. Oh my god, yeah, I love that intro. While on a cheery note, did you hear that Doomsday Scream for Krypton? Doomsday Scream. God, I can't explain it other than to say that there is a trailer for the show Krypton where they introduce Doomsday, and when he's getting all muscular and the bones are starting to rip through his skin, he screams. It is a pre-recorded scream. The scream came from a video a very long time ago in internet world, so like 10-15 years, of a gentleman very loudly finishing a romantic session. Let's say that the political way. Can I get a link to that Doomsday screen? I'm not going to link that. I am not going to link that. However, if you type in loud, somebody else say it. I don't want to say it. We're a family show here, damn it. I don't want to say it.
Uh-oh, spaghetti-o.
Yeah. I thought that was a joke at first when I saw that Krypton clip, and it's funny. I showed it to Beth, and she didn't know what was going on. Like, she's watching it, she's like, "Well, what is it?" So I went back and I played it again, and I played the part with the scream, and she goes, "What?" She's like, "The scream?" I'm like, "Yeah." She goes, I kid you not. This was her reaction. Why? What is it? Is that the dude? When the most important spike starts protruding out. Rocky Bear, have a good one. I will see you on Monday. We will all see you on Monday, and we all hope to see each other on Monday. Yeah, so the show is called Krypton. The character is Doomsday. Yeah, that was a wild sort of experience. I don't know if I don't know if I'll ever come back from that one. The dude. The chat talks about hentai. We're not family friendly at all. What's wrong? Why isn't hentai family friendly? He is a delightful chicken that we use in 3D dot game heroes. We all hail hentai. Hail. So that was what a great moment that was. Okay, I think we are going to wrap it up today. Oh god, Shadow did it. I think we're going to wrap it up today. thank you everybody for stopping. PG-13 at the most. Let's say that. Thank you everybody so much for stopping in and for hanging out, for enjoying, hopefully enjoying our time spent here today, being part of the conversation, and just having a good time. You know, this was later than usual. I'm going to explain before everybody goes. I'm going to explain. This show normally is 5 p.m. I'm going to change that time, so it's normally 5 p.m. on Friday Eastern. So almost 4 hours prior to this. I had some commitments that I had to take care of today, so we started the show at 7 o'clock. I'm not going to lie to you. I kind of like the 7 o'clock thing. But we're going to stick with 5 p.m. for a little while. I need to change the banner on the bottom. If you are watching right now and you have not done already, please go ahead and click follow if you enjoyed what you've seen so far. Also, check the link down below and follow me over on Twitter and YouTube. You can follow me on Twitter. Twitter's where I post any kind of updates. I post a lot of dumb stuff. YouTube, I basically just post these episodes over again. So if you want to go and watch the other episodes, YouTube's the best place to go for that. Give me a follow over there too if you can. If you're watching this on YouTube, also check the links down below. Hopefully I remembered to add a Twitter link. And follow me over on Twitter and follow me over on Twitch. We stream 4 days a week here. 3 days are gameplay, and then every Friday we do the show here. So stop in and be part of the conversation. That's the best thing. I don't know if you were here in the beginning, but for me, the chat is my co-host. So I love having everybody here, and we get to talk. We get to have a conversation. This is one of the things that I miss the most about not having a gaming community near me is I used to like going to the game stores and just talking to everybody, just hanging out and having long conversations. And one of my favorite things about going to conventions is that we get to talk to everybody. So this is like my weekly hangout to talk about a lot of these issues, and that's why I love having the viewer topics portion, so that we can come up with other issues, and we can talk about all kinds of crazy stuff. Vote Sigma, everybody. Vote Sigma. And if you see a candidate who looks like he is kind of up to something, but maybe you're not sure, it probably also is Sigma. Just remember that. My internet family. But again, thank you everybody. Let me get this ready so I'll not look weird. Have a great night. Have a great weekend. Play some fun games, and I will see you all next time.